Hello everyone, and thank you to join our talk about connecting basically any interface with low code or no code. And yes, I have to be a little bit fast about my talking because there's a lot of information to tell you. But the time we have is like 10 minutes to show you a little bit about everything or talk what the advantages are, and then 10 minutes of a live demo so you can see how easy it can be to connect to any interface, right? And we have to have a look live for it. I prepared a link, so if you have any questions and the time afterwards is not enough, you can just scan the QR code or use the link and send us a question. Because yet again, there's a lot to talk about because interfaces are basically everywhere, so there's a lot of possibilities you can have. Well, what do we want to talk about? It's fairly easy. I will quickly show you what the Sync, so our product, does and how it works. I'll give you some real-life examples if you are not into the topic yet, so what are possibilities to connect to, the benefits of using a system like the Sync, and then we jump into the demo. So, what is the Sync? The Sync is basically an app, like we named it like this, so if you install it, it will basically transform your Odoo into a data hub. So you can, you will have an exchange system that enables you to configure different automated APIs, jobs, imports, exports, basically everything. The technology doesn't really matter. With very little IT knowledge and without any programming knowledge, it will help you, but it will be possible without. You will see this in the demo. How does it do it? Well, as I said, it transforms your Odoo into a data hub, so it uses the Odoo front end, which basically means, first of all, it's very easy to connect stuff to Odoo, but Odoo wouldn't be needed. And it's still in your comfort zone about the UI you're used to if you're already using Odoo. These are some real-life examples, and this is why I need to talk that fast, because there's a lot of possibilities. These are just the examples we already have live with customers. So you can connect two different Odoos. You can have automated pricing, shop systems, migrations. There's a lot of use cases where you need integrations, and normally you would pay someone to program them for you. The horse basically is just, I put it in a more readable list if you're interested. These are the examples we already have live, but also these are not like single APIs. So every topic you see here is an example for multiple APIs. Like marketplaces, you can have 10 marketplaces linked to your systems. You can of course have different shop systems. In the example of automated pricing, you can send your data to price crawler and import it again, or to a machine learning algorithm that gives you some pricing, right? So there's one extreme example is the supplier information on the left, right? In the field, this is basically 50 APIs and interfaces because different suppliers will send you different CSV files or an XML file, or they want to send you data acknowledgement about EDI or FTP or email, right? There's a lot of ways how to integrate data and import it to your system. And then a little bit of benefits. Why would you use such a thing, right? You can just pay a developer and he will or she will do the interface you need and it will work. But basically, if you have a framework that allows you to configure imports and exports just in the front end, you can save a lot of development time. You can save a lot of hours you get billed to pay someone very expensive, like a partner, like us. Also, the support will go way down because everything is in the same framework. So if you know how one interface works, you know how every interface in your system in your Odoo works. You can improve your resources because normally developers are hard to come by, so they are always a bottleneck, and you have a lot of ideas to improve upon, but they have to do your interfaces, and you can move this to people who are not like 5 years skilled developers or even longer time and still have your interfaces connected. Then you can reduce technical debt. If you have 10 interfaces and they are done by different people, different partners, different agencies, they will look different. They will maybe lock each other out because they are importing on the same module or model. which will like have a lot of complexity. But if you have a framework that does it for you, they will all be similar to each other, right? Even if one is a manual Excel import and the next one is a web API call, I will show you this in a demo. They will look very similar. So if you have a few hours to learn how the Zinc works, you can support all your interfaces easily. You gain a ton of possibilities. So even if you don't have yet a lot of APIs, there are so many use cases that can improve your revenue streams, like new projects where you connect to new marketplaces, which is easier if it takes only a few minutes or days and you can start it yourself and you don't need a partner and a high upfront overhead to plan how you implement it and everything. Also, which sounds counterintuitive, but you gain more standardization while still also gaining more customization, because if you have the framework, your interfaces will look very similar and the same, but you will customize them even more. You can fix the smallest of problems because, as you see in the live demo in a minute, adding a field, changing a field, because you have new things to do, you had new ideas, you have ideas for improvement, can be done live without much of a risk to your system or your workflows. And also, a quick thing, where is it most effective? Of course, if you have a lot of APIs. Because if you have one API, maybe it's easier to give it to someone, you get it developed, it's done, you never think about it again. But as soon as you have a lot of APIs, you gain the technical debt and the problems, and maybe want a system and you want the knowledge inside. And because the second thing, if you have APIs that change a lot, you don't want everything to be something where you get a bill afterwards. Maybe you would just want to change it really quick. Then there's also the thing of dependency. If you have like one skilled developer or a very skilled partner, they will do the interfaces for you, but in the end, if you kind of, for some reason, are growing apart or having problems, or it's too expensive, or you have other ideas, you will be still dependent. But this will not happen if the interfaces are easy to maintain, easy to change, and everything. If you just have like a few hours of training, and yeah, so that's basically it. From now on, we can jump into the live demo. I prepared two different systems. The one on the left is an Odoo 16, fairly empty. It just has one product in it and some apps installed. On the right, it's an Odoo 14, also fairly empty. It just has one order and one product. And just to show you a quick example, which is maybe a strange use case, but we now want to sync two products, or our product, to the other Odoo. So what do we want to do? We grab from our current Odoo, we will map the data. Mapping is the data transformer, so because different systems have different names for different fields, right? And you need a way to tell him how the name is, or you need really to transform the data. And now we are almost done. We will start with our local Odoo. This example, the local Odoo, this is the advantage of the Zinc, will always be there because the Odoo is installed here, the Zinc, so it can just handle its own database. Product, we will use the product template. Then, if you know the Odoo domain, it's the same here. So because we only have one product, or we want to we take all our products, right? If the use case would be you just want to sync all your products, and then we don't have to configure it all. We can just now, in a debugging mode, start the implementation. So I just ran a test, let it grab the product, and in all steps I can see what it does. So if I open it up, we now see that it grabbed already the product template object with the ID number 7, which is, I just have a little delay here, so it opened multiple. So this is only this one product, right? We got a chair here, and this chair has the ID number 7. So it grabbed it, and now a very easy case is we want to tell him, take the name of this object and send it to the other system, right? This is all we need to do. If we want to see it working, we can have a look now. It already transformed it, so it now has it in a JSON format. I don't know how technical you are, but and we already told him that get the name of this product. And in the same manner, we will tell him the other connection. This is something you have, of course, to configure. It cannot know all your systems, but it basically is just the URL of the other Odoo and the user and a password. We make an easy use case. You can have, you can use every model. You can send products to, I don't know, customers. It doesn't matter, right? But we of course want to sync products, so we send the model product template to the other system. We will have a test run, and that's it, right? I can refresh the other side, and we already sent the chair. So, but now if I have a look, of course we just sent the name. So in a real use case, we would now add some more fields to the mapper. And to have an example, this chair is a storable product, and here it used the default value, consumable. So we take the detailed type, and we'll just add it, detailed type. We just want to send this as well. Because we are in test mode, we can just jump back and use the same product we already grabbed, add it, and now we should get an error. Because this is the example where you need the mapper. In Odoo 14, detailed type was not there. It was named type. So this is, of course, sometimes you have date formats, right? Then you can add some code or changes here. But for us, it's an easy use case to show it. We just put it to type. We will have to run it again because it needs to do the step again. Then we do it the last time. And yes, I just have, I can refresh this. And now, if the internet loads, it is a storable product, right? And we would send all products. So if this system now would have 100,000 products, we would have them here. Of course, Odoo to Odoo is kind of a special use case. I just wanted to show because it's very easy. But we can have any interface. There's an interface in the internet where you can get cat facts, which is an API. So we take the web worker, which would be the equivalent to the Odoo grabber, to have a different showcase. I also, I hope I then don't miswrite later on, but we will add some code. So even though you can do it without code, kind of depending on the complexity of the interface you want to build, maybe sometimes you need code. We need the mapper again, because you almost always need it, because systems are different. And the last thing, to have an easy use case and be fast, we will dump it in our local Odoo. Same thing, so that I can show you how it works. We will go into the test run. And this has, of course, no configuration, but there's just an open API, right? You need the URL you want to connect to, which is like basic business and also what your programmers do. We use the default values, but of course everything is possible if you know how APIs work. And we want facts. And the same manner as before, and we did no deployment in anything, right? We did it all in our live system. We will heartbeat this and see what we got. The API misclicked. The API just send us, right? It's an you can do this yourself. It's like a weather app. It's just a funny API you can use just for test cases or learning APIs. And we got now a lot of test cat facts. But in our example, these are way too long. We don't have time for such things, so we could add a transformer where we say for every record set we got in the complete data, we want if the length is smaller than 80 characters, which was a field the API sent us, only then we will res append r. I also need to define res, I'm sorry. And then what comes out of this step is the data we want to continue with, right? So just an example that you, if you need code, you can have it in single mapping steps, but also overall, so you can do basically everything. Some interfaces needs it, some don't, it kind of depends. And if we heartbeat this, I miswrote somewhere and yes. So the error messages are kind of helpful. I just wrote append and not append. Right? So hopefully I did not, but that's the live demo, right? So, and we can have a look. And now it transformed everything we got before into only the records that are short enough. And in the same manner, I just do an easy example. So all the fact we get, we import on a product, right? Kind of seems strange, but in our case, maybe you want to do a drop shipment shop, and you use these cat facts to get your products to have like posters you want to sell, right? So there's, it can be strange use cases, it can be typical use cases, everything is possible. And then again, of course, we need to tell them that we want to put this, the product template. So we put it back in our local Odoo and as a product template. And if I do this, then we can go here where we before just had the chair, and now we have all the cat facts as a product, right? But this can be everything. This could be orders you import from your shop, or and then export again to another system or a warehouse management system, right? And then, of course, we added a lot of features so that you need less code. You have snippets that are ready for you, so that you really, really need as few developing skills as possible to do this. And also, if for the time right now, I can show you even more in a very quick manner, because we can import ready-to-go flows, right? We have, for example, a connection to the Microsoft cloud, so that you can get your users synced, and you take the groups you have there to your users in Odoo. But in our example, I just yet again do something easy. We will import, for example, another REST API, right? And now we got another API, this one, which, if I let it run, gets some data, some order data, and which is then pulled from the other Odoo, but not on the typical way, because what the sync also can do, you can create your own REST APIs you can access from anywhere else. So if your system would be another leading system where you need the Odoo to be the backend or a part of a microservice you speak to, what I did is I created a REST API, so if this calls, but this can be any system, right? It's like the cat facts. It's like you could build your own cat facts and make them accessible from everywhere if this is stuff you need, right? And to have my last and huge example, you don't even need Odoo if you don't want to. It is a complete data hub. So you could, just to have an easy use case, you get, I don't know, an Excel list you need to import. And this Excel list should be enriched with data from any SQL database that is in your company. Then you can transform it and merge them together, have the mapper again, as you already saw, and then send it to any API or a business intelligence, right? So this, the advantage is that Odoo is the most easiest to connect, because we built it on Odoo and it knows itself. But everything would be possible. So you can just use it as a data hub to connect anything to everything. And yes, this is the one last thing, and then the live demo was as well, even manual, right? If you get lists which are kind of maybe not you don't get them via FTP server all the time, but someone sends them to you manually. We can implement also via configuration that that you will have this file upload here, so this workflow can also be started manually if possible, right? You just get an Excel list, and then it's the same. It will transform the Excel list to a JSON format, and then it behaves exactly what you saw. So really, everything can be connected. It doesn't matter if it's via file, via web, via database, a direct call, lying around manually. You can do everything you need and every interface that is there. And yes, that's basically it. There's not much to say besides. The last thing is, normally we like, it jumped to the first slide again. How we do is right now is that we try to have a fair pricing model. So the smaller you are, the smaller your use case you are, you can just have this app for free. You just need to talk to us. And the bigger you are, the more money you save with it, then we would like to talk about it like licensing, because of course we get rid of ourselves, right? We would normally also do customizations for you, but then if you get someone in your company, train them a little, he can do it or she can do it themselves, then of course it would be nice that we are compensated at least a little bit. Yes. And this is basically it, right? If you have questions, I would be very happy if you send them to us. You can also ask them right now. And go to the website where all what I told today and even more is on the website, and it's not even done yet, right? There's a lot of information where I have more examples, more details, more training videos where we add this every day, where we find something or get something useful. So yeah, feel free to ask. Thank you.